Ôi chết cha rồi, bây giờ công thức mình theo như vậy mà nó không có ra được như vậy.
Hôm nay nấu phở cơ à? Có tin được không nhỉ?
You ever hear your friends say you've got absolutely no chance with that girl? Well, I'm telling you now, you've got absolutely no chance of getting any taste out of your pho broth if you're only seasoning it with those 3 ingredients. Ever. Hey guys, my name is Leighton and welcome to this week's pho tutorial. In my last video, I left you guys with a question. Does roasting your bones first produce a tastier pho broth? And that is the question we're going to try and answer in today's video. But for those new to the channel, consider watching my first tutorial because that'll really put into context what today's video is about. But just to recap last week's episode in under 30 seconds, I went on the internet, I found a random pho recipe, I made it twice, but one came out looking completely different to the other. That's because I roasted the bones first. And we established that doing it this way produces a much better looking broth. It's also more fragrant as well. But the $1,000,000 question is, does it make it tastier? Are there any real world gains and is it even worth it? Before I answer that question, I'm gonna have to leave you hanging just that a little bit longer. And I know at this point some people are like, just tell us the answer already, bro. Stop leaving us hanging. But hear me out because this next topic is really important, especially if you're new to the world of cooking pho. A pho recipe is like a dating profile. There's hundreds, if not thousands out there. I'd go as far as to say that the aim of cooking and dating are identical. See, in dating, people don't want to be disappointed because they invested time in something that's not going to work out. In cooking, it's the same. You don't want to be investing half a day cooking something, say a pho, only to be disappointed in the taste. Picture this for a moment. You want to cook a pho, you go on the internet, you Google pho recipes and there's hundreds. You scroll through it and you stumble across a recipe which sparks your interest. It's got pretty photos, nice step-by-step instructions. This is like that perfect Tinder profile of a really hot girl or guy and you're drooling over their selfie photos. They check a lot of your boxes and you think they're the one. Yo. Yeah, good man. I got your text this morning. She's cute.
Man, she's not bad. She's the one.
She's the one.
Her
Jeez.
eyes, her smile, everything, mate. She's perfect.
You think you found the one?
I think this is it, mate. This is the one.
Before you get too excited and decide to commit half a day cooking this recipe, there's one thing you need to know. Stay the hell away from recipes which tell you to season with just salt, white sugar, and fish sauce. That is a giant red flag. You need to avoid recipes like these because as your fur coach, I'm like your bro, I'm like your best friend. I can see this stuff from a mile away, and I'm telling you now, it's not going to end well. But even though I'm telling you, you're not going to listen, you're still going to make that fur recipe, you're still going to make that mistake, and then you're going to be disappointed with the taste of that broth at the end, and then you're going to feel guilty and filthy at yourself for investing all this time and energy, and then you're going to question why this recipe didn't work out. You ever hear your friends say you've got absolutely no chance with that girl? Well, I'm telling you now, you've got absolutely no chance of getting any taste out of your fur broth if you're only seasoning it with those 3 ingredients, ever. If bland and tasteless is your thing, knock yourself out. But geez, have some self-respect. You're cooking at about a 6 or 7, so why are you setting the bar so low at a 3? I mean, 7s attract 7s or 8s, or if you're really lucky, 9. Why? Why are you doing this to yourself? The next big red flag that you need to be aware of is the classic line, season to taste. And every time I read this in a recipe, it really gets me fired up. Because this is no different than, say, going on a couple of dates with a hot girl. You think things are going places, you're committed, when really they're just leading you on. And before you know it, they've ditched you, they've ghosted you, they've deleted all their socials, never to be seen again. What do I mean by this? Take this for example. As a beginner cooking a pho, you have no idea how to season a pho broth, which is why you rely on the author's sense of taste to help guide you to something that is edible. And we've all been there, standing over that pot of pho or soup, and you followed the recipe down to the T, but when you come to taste it, it just doesn't taste right. There's something wrong with it and you don't know how to fix it. You go back to the recipe to help find guidance, but the only line you can find is season to taste. And this is basically the author washing their hands of any responsibility. That's a polite way of saying your pot of pho is fucked, but too bad, or in Vietnamese, rang chịu, because you're gonna be the one who serves that pho later that night to your friends and family. And you're gonna be there at the dinner table just nervously asking, how's the pho taste? Is it any good? When you know inside,
Ôi chết cha rồi, bây giờ công thức mình theo như vậy mà nó không có ra được như vậy. Chúc mọi người ăn phở thì chắc mình ăn cái tô quá. Thì hôm nay là con nấu phở cho mọi người ăn. Thì mọi người ăn rồi góp ý kiến cho con nha. Bây giờ con ra sau bếp con lấy nước rồi con sẽ quay trở lại.
Hôm nay nấu phở cơ à? Có tin đâu không nhỉ?
Ủa ngon bố?
Cái gì vậy? Tôi chưa thử mà.
Có sủi bọt thì chị có nên ăn không?
Ủa có vấn đề gì vậy?
Now back to the story of last week's episode. The recipe that I followed had all these red flags, and against my better judgment, I still followed it down to the letter, and this is what happened.
Tao mai cheers nha.
Đấy, cheers mọi người thử đây.
Cheers, cheers.
Cho nó đổ đi.
To be honest, one.
Em chấm 3. 1 ra. Tại em có cái dở hơn nữa.
To taste.
Mình đang cho 2 nhưng mà có thể là phải low score hơn là 2.
Thú vị.
Ok.
Em cho 1.
Cho 1, that's fine.
Em cho 1,5 đi. Để khác mọi người, tại vì cái
Vì nó hơi lạ nên cho 1 á. À không Không có quen.
Yeah.
Mình cho
Kiểu
một
sao sao
hoặc 1,5 gì đó. Cả hai cái này ấy, nó đều quá trôi mà nó không lưu lại được bất kỳ
Đúng
một
rồi.
cái vị gì ở trên.
Cái xong là xong luôn á, chứ nó không có đậm, nó không có
Nó
aftertaste
không
luôn.
có lưu lại cái gì cả.
B sống sót hay không có thắng. Nó chỉ sống sót.
Bên nó chỉ ngon hơn thôi,
Chỉ sống sót
nó chỉ
thôi.
được
Em không ăn đâu, em không ăn đâu.
Em cũng nói.
Em không ăn đâu.
À đúng rồi, chị nếu mà cho em cũng không ăn đâu.
Now, to answer the $1,000,000 question, yes, but only very slightly. And you guys are gonna have to take this result with a grain of salt. In terms of percentage, how much better is it? I don't really know. But what I will say is to a normal average person, they probably cannot tell the difference between the two broths. Someone did mention that I really should have done a blind taste test, and that is a great point, but I did not think of it at the time. And yes, sometimes when you look at something that looks better, it can affect your judgment. But I'm gonna have to call this and say the results are just too close and pretty much inconclusive. Even though my staff did say that broth B tasted slightly better, some of them said there was no taste difference. And I'm a pretty ethical guy, I'm pretty honest, and being my channel, my rules, I could have skewed the results any way I wanted to. But I'm gonna have to say that the results are just too close to call. Being this early in the channel, I don't want to give you guys the wrong results because I'm actually not endorsing anything. I don't get any money out of this by saying that, yes, this tastes better than that one. So the bottom line is this. If you're a beginner to the world of pho, I recommend skipping this step. Don't waste your time roasting your bones. Use that time to learn the fundamentals of pho and just developing the seasoning for your pho. Or if you got way too much time on your hands, knock yourself out. I think the most important point I wanted to make in this entire video is if the seasoning in your pho is flawed, that is you're only seasoning it with salt, sugar and fish sauce, it doesn't matter how you prepared the bones, doesn't matter whether you've roasted it or just done it the traditional way. It doesn't matter how much bones you used in it. You could have used my 36-hour broth, ultra concentrated, but that's not gonna make any difference because you'll never ever get any taste out of that broth, ever, with just those 3 ingredients.
What you're looking for, ain't nobody gonna help you out there. Jesus can come through that door and he's not gonna help you.
Jesus can even walk through your kitchen door right now, and even then he can't save your pot of pho if the seasoning sucks. Taking things from the very top, and just to summarize this 2-part tutorial really quickly, I made 2 pho broths, I seasoned them exactly the same, and this is like having 2 identical cars, say 2 Honda Civics, except one of those looks better than the other. But if you thought the nicer looking Civic magically gained a couple of extra horsepower or could suddenly do 12s down the quarter mile, you're sadly mistaken. Because we all know that the same engine, tuned exactly the same, produces the same horsepower. And that is similar to my 2 broths. If they were seasoned exactly the same, they produce the same taste. You guys see where this is going? Because the real secret to a great pho is in the seasoning, and no one ever talks about this. It's in the seasoning, or in Vietnamese, gạch nem nồi phở. Seasoning is just like tuning a car engine. That is when you start extracting more horsepower, more torque, more potential out of that car. Similarly, when you season your pho broth correctly, that is when you start extracting maximum taste and flavor out of that broth which you worked so hard on all day. My name's Leighton, and thank you guys for watching right to the very end. I didn't realize some people watch my videos from start to finish, so that is really humbling. And my mission on this channel is really simple, just to help people right around the world cook a better pho. So if you don't want to be a tan or a ling, drop me one of these. It really helps out the channel. I put a lot of effort into my content, and I do shoot it from start to finish. I shoot and edit. I feel like a single parent sometimes. I cook and clean, pick up the kids. So I'm really humbled by all the support that you guys give to this channel. As you guys can see, a complete change of tone and pace for this video. I've ditched my salesman voice and adopted my natural voice, which is how I talk to my close friends and family. And it's taken a while for me to get comfortable in front of the camera. I'm only feel like I'm starting to come out of my shell, which is really good because I strive to deliver better content to you guys in a way that is authentic and sounds natural, which is what you want to be doing. And I know you guys aren't idiots. You can see the potential and where the direction on this channel is going. Just a mix of tutorial, honest facts, a few skits, and that is my style. So if you like it, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.
Em nhìn nervous một chút đi. Em đã cố đã. Em đã cố. Em đang cố dữ lắm luôn á.
Sorry em nói gì nữa.
Ok chị ngay vô lại chị em. Ôi tôi cười với trời.